Divorce. It can be a complicated process filled with stress, anxiety, and anger, especially if child custody has to be determined. A program commonly used in Australia puts kids, not the adults, at the center of its process. And when Judge Linda Fidnick of Hampshire Probate and Family Court learned of the program, she wanted to try it here. Why? Here's what she said.
Several years ago, maybe even as long as 10 years ago, I went to some programming at a conference that AFCC, which is the Association of Family and Conciliation Courts. It's an international organization, interdisciplinary. They have a big conference every year. I went to one of those and heard Australian judges, lawyers, and mental health professionals talk about this alternative to the traditional court system, and they called it the less adversarial trial. And it was child-focused. Mental health person was in the center of it, so they could really help the people go through the trauma of divorce, separation, and understand children's developmental needs. And the most important thing was that they had studied it, and the litigants, the people who were in it, the lawyers and the judges, all reported that they thought this was a much better system. And so, the more I thought about it, and the more I thought about our court in particular in Hampshire County and Northampton, we've had lots of innovative programs, parent education programs that have been excellent. And I thought, you know what, we can do this.
Yeah.
And so we did it 2 years ago.
And as I understand it, the idea is to really support families and help children in particular feel less stress and less anxiety around what I can imagine, if you're a young kid, could be a pretty scary time. And your parents, who both participated in the court, how did you learn about it, Colin?
Recommended by an attorney.
And so why did you decide, yeah, this is something I think my family could benefit from?
I was just willing to try anything.
Yeah.
And the more experience I had with it, the more enthusiastic about it I became.
In what way? What was it that you really identified with that made you feel so enthusiastic?
It is clearly a much more humane procedure for all parties involved. The time is taken to really figure out what's best for everyone. And it is really child-centered as opposed to just following a script.
Emma, how about for you? Why was it something that you thought could be a good fit for your family?
I also found out about it through an attorney, but we had never been through the standard court system. So I had no idea what that would look like either. But when he explained the difference, I thought, well, Frisk seems like holistic. That's a holistic solution to something that's really complex, and family dynamics are complex. Then you bring the financial piece into it and the kids, and keeping the focus on them rather than on the emotional sort of drama between the parents. And Frisk has really helped us do that.
So let's hope the folks at home understand what is different about this process, because clearly families do get divorced and need to go in and have the court help arbitrate that process. But so how is this specific court different?
This is the best person to talk about how different it is, because she is our mental health professional. We call her the family consultant. That's a term from Australia. And you should talk about your role, because it doesn't exist typically in a divorce or a separation of never married parents. That role is not there in our court.
So my role is when families decide they do want to try this process, I meet with them together, I meet with them individually, and find out what are their, the issues, where have they reached agreement, and where are they still at an impasse. And then I will meet with them as many times as needed in terms of what makes sense for that family, both individually or together, to work through. I don't work through the financial pieces because they have lawyers, or we have probation staff or mediators who will do that. But the emotions that get in the way of some good decision making, because people come to court pretty upset.
The adults might be angry at each other, or frustrated with the situation,
right,
and then the kid gets
hurt,
caught in the middle.
Betrayed, angry, sad. I mean, a whole wealth of information. So part of my job is to see if it's appropriate to do a referral, to see if they need a counselor or a therapist or somewhere to take that piece so that they have a place to address it, because it's real and it can definitely interfere with the decision-making process, or deal with it if we can, together, so that the focus can really be on the child, on what's the best needs of the child. And I think a lot of my work involves helping with communication, because by the time they come to court, usually communication is difficult between parents. So having tools to help them make decisions, inform each other about how the child's doing that might minimize the amount of contact they have with each other, and also educate around what's developmentally appropriate in terms of a parenting plan for a child who's going back and forth between two homes.
And so is the child actually then speaking to people in the process?
The child has a lawyer. Right away, and from the beginning, a lawyer represents the child, which is an amazing phenomenon for the children. We hear back from them that they feel like the way that we hear it is the opposite. This is all about me, and how come I don't have a voice in this? And so the attorneys we have who are representing the children are right in there. This is what my client wants.
Because in a typical family court situation, it's the parents who would say on either side of the child, this is what I think, this is what I think for the child. And that can get pretty tense, as I understand it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the other thing is that this program is open to parents without counsel. So some parents are represented by attorneys, some are not. That's fine, but the child will always have a lawyer.
You mentioned the financial piece several times. What's unique about that?
Well, what happens is the family is also given a mediator, and so the mediator will work with them to make financial decisions, like how much child support should be paid, if it's a divorce, how to divide property, just talk about that. But our mediators they're not just mediators who try to help them reach a solution. They also work on them on communication skills and using mediation as a way to try to maybe see a problem coming in the future, come into mediation to try to solve it before it blows up. And then we also have probation staff who are trained in our model, and so they can run the child support guidelines, kind of help people if there's an emergency. Like we have emergencies can be anything from a holiday is coming and there's a conflict. Who's going to have the child for Thanksgiving Yeah, exactly. So they can come right in and deal with that on the spot, get a temporary agreement together, and then file it.
Wow. And so for each of you, following this process, when you were speaking to your kids about it, what did they say? What did they experience?
My children didn't really seem to have an opinion one way or another.
And how about for you, Emma?
Yeah, I would agree. I think that it's maybe so foreign to them, all these ideas that are involved. And so I think that I just tried to convey it as a very positive step in our life together as a family. And I'm not really sure what pieces they get and what pieces they don't yet.
Your children are little, too.
Yeah.
Yours are older. And my recollection was that they really developed a relationship with their attorney and were quite clear about a lot of things, which was kind of great. It really depends on the age, on what the role of the attorney for the child is.
Well, the program received an award, the Irwin Cantor Innovative Program Award. What did you think when you heard you were going to win the award?
We were ecstatic because it is an international award. And because we had been, until just a couple of days ago, we'd been fueled entirely by donations and by
About
grants.
$175,000 a year needed to be raised for this
Yes.
process to go on.
Yes, and banks, pediatricians, individual lawyers, Bar Association. I mean, people were giving us money, I think partly because they believed in it, particularly the lawyers, I think, when they saw the difference. And lawyers who've been in practice for a long time have seen the other system and how it can harm families. And so we invited legislators to come and see it, and God bless them. We put in our budget, and we got $125,000, and it came through the Joint Committee. Thank you so much. And then it went to our governor, and he did not remove it. And thank you for that. And so we are ready to roll now, not on donations, but but really trying to hire people to be court employees who will do this work.